Okay, I thought I was gonna do something a little different this time around. Um, I have Ty from DreadedCone with me,
Wom wom.
and
Sweet.
he's gonna he's just gonna chill and
It's like I'm
watch it with
really
me.
there in the swamps of
Yeah,
Louisiana. I'm just kidding.
yeah,
I'm never gonna
exactly.
bring that up
Yeah,
again. You and
Duck
your airboats in the
Dynasty,
street. Yeah.
our airboats. Yeah,
It's a shame. The last time I turned on my Xbox, I'm not kidding. Duck Dynasty was on like the
I
main
saw it.
the
I
four
saw it.
guys with their beards. I'm like, is a game coming out? Like, really?
Oh my god. I saw it too, and I was like, it's like ever since you mentioned it that
It's haunting you.
yeah, it haunts me
I
now.
cursed you with like the curse,
Exactly.
the fucking duck call or whatever the fuck it is they do in that.
I hadn't
That's-
heard anything about Duck Dynasty like in like a year.
yeah.
I saw them once on like a talk show, and
Yeah.
then Ty mentions it, and now they're everywhere.
Yep.
And I am supposedly on the show. I don't know.
Yeah.
According
Well,
to everyone on Twitch, I own Duck Dynasty.
Yeah.
But yeah. But basically what we're gonna do is just discuss some of the comments and stuff about the Dark Souls 2 PvP discussion and all that. Because I tried doing it live, and as you can see, and from the last video you could tell too, I get like very easily distracted.
Oh, dude, well, welcome to the club.
Yes.
Like, I can't imagine the amount of conversations I've started or statements I've begun to craft during a stream, and then I just leave them hanging. And because the chat's going so fast, I can't keep track of what it was I was talking about. Like, it's bad enough that I'm, like, almost ADD when it comes to this, but yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, especially with all these stupid dogs everywhere. They
Oh,
would
yeah.
I would start talking about like, oh, I think this, and then that would happen. Then a thief would jump up behind me and slit
Yeah.
my throat, and I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, like
Absolutely.
I can't form any thoughts at all.
Speaking of the lower Undead Burg, while we're here, it's such a shame that this area is just a hallway, because
I never thought
what a
about
cool, what a like this. It's so cool with all the tall, like oppressive buildings. Like, oh,
Yeah.
good on you there.
I'd already lost.
Cut down.
I'd already lost the 40 million. I don't
Oh.
even care.
Yeah.
It's gone off my shoulders. But yeah,
Like
what were you
I've
saying?
always compared it to like the upper Undead Burg, and it's like the upper Undead Burg, you're pretty much on like almost the rooftops, like you're kind of above the city looking down, but the lower Undead Burg is so much like dirtier, and just like the buildings are so tall, you feel so claustrophobic. I would love if this area had like multiple routes you could take and was almost like maze-like. That's just an idea. I've always wondered like why. I always wish that the lower Undead Burg was more. I mean, it's an optional area to begin with. If you have the master key, you obviously
Yeah.
don't go there at all. But yeah, I always thought it was a really fucking cool location. But it's a shame it's just a glorified hallway with dogs and
Yeah,
like
it's basically just like one big like trap.
yeah,
just-
yeah. It's exactly. It's one big trap full of ambushes, and then you fight like the Capra Demon in a tiny space that gives you no like another hallway. The whole it's like fucking hallway souls. Oh man.
Yeah.
So I noticed that our favorite ring hasn't summoned you yet. That's kind of strange.
Yeah, the weird thing was like it happens in a little bit too. The ring has actually been saving me lately.
Really.
Like I'll get in trouble, and it'll start summoning me, and like pull me to the forest to rescue me from a terrible
Yeah.
PVE.
And then it'll spit you back.
Oh, I remember what happened. I forgot to revive. That's what it was.
Oh shit! Yeah. That's. Wait. So you're not doing this? This is live Meowcenaries, not undead.
No. Yeah. This is like original. Well, not original because we updated the rules to where
Yeah.
you can
Anything,
use
so-
humanity and
Yeah.
whatever you want. But no, I just luckily the ring hadn't summoned me. I forgot to revive.
Yeah.
So
Fair.
because right whenever I was leaving, I was like, I feel like I forgot something. Turns out I forgot to revive. So
Yeah.
it's all good now.
Yep, the live Meow scenarios, like where you're alive, works way better when you're not streaming, because when you're streaming, it's almost unfair because you've got so many stream snipers invading. Like for instance, right,
And
now,
you can
lower
progress
Undead
more.
Burg. nobody is invading Lower Undead Burg, or if they are, like it's very unlikely. If this were during a stream, it would be non-stop invaders, and you'd probably get to the Capra Demon with ease because it's easier, depending on where the invader spawns, to just like run past him. Whereas getting called to the Cat Forest, you don't have a choice. You're going, and the gankers are waiting.
Yeah, exactly. So it's just no progression whenever you're doing it undead. But I wanted. It adds like so much more variety to have the chance to be invaded.
For sure, absolutely, I agree. And again, it works so well offline. But if you're online, or sorry, if you're streaming, I found that was with the first Meowcenaries. I would especially when I was in New Londo Ruins. In New Londo Ruins, I would constantly get invaded, which is great because I wouldn't get called to the Cat Forest. But the invader starts way back at the start. He would never catch me in time. So it was like a free ride to the Four Kings every time. Yeah. Whereas when I was doing it on the stream last time, I did the undead version, it was pain. Getting to the Kings before I got summoned was awful. It was like constantly, I would get to the, oh my god, dude, you are getting, look at this. Brought to you by Brad.
That corner, I rush into it and just...
Yeah. This is not the... Look how many there are!
I know.
You have dogs on one side and like 14 thieves, the whole thieves guild.
Yeah, and the bad thing is...
It's retribution for your Ultima Online days, man.
Oh god.
They're coming back to haunt you. You abandon your guild. So for anyone that doesn't know, Peeve was like the guild master for like all of Ultima Online. Don't deny it. From like 1998 to like now. So
the biggest thieves guild in the game.
Yeah. We were both really big in Ultima Online, and this will be a really quick story. But basically, recently we got back into Ultima Online for like a week. So I went in and I fucking like built up my character, and we got on. And I think Peeve, in total you played for like 3 hours. But the funny thing is, you stirred up all this like excitement, and all these people were coming out of the woodwork and like, oh my god, our guild master's back. It's like. Everyone was all excited, and then you just left them to die. The guy gave you a fucking house and like a ton of amazing gear, and like the next day you never turn the game back on, and like I let my subscription die, and that was them. That was them coming into Dark Souls, the fucking angry spirits.
Oh yeah, that's them reincarnated.
Yeah,
coming to get revenge.
Their revenge.
I wish it wasn't such like a big chat room now over there. Like,
oh yeah, a big chat room, and it's just fucking empty.
Yeah.
The people, because the last thing about Ultima Online is Ultima Online was the original MMO in terms of anything goes. You could kill anyone, you could steal from other players. It was the Wild West, which is amazing. It and EverQuest kind of ran parallel in that they both kind of had that going for them. But then Ultima Online sort of recently introduced this thing where it's an exact copy of the world, but in that copy of the world, you can't murder whoever you want. Yep. You can't steal. It's like fucking... It was the MMO for babies. They took the coolest MMO that had no rules, and they made like an option so that you didn't have to fight anyone, and no one could steal, no one could loot your corpse. It was fucking disastrous. And everyone went there. Because obviously, if you're just in it for PvE and you're trying to be the strongest, like, monster killer, you obviously don't want to fight other players.
Yeah, exactly.
No benefit, right? And it's like, it's like, this actually ties really well into the Dark Souls 2 discussion that we're about to have. The rumor, and I don't know... Oh, wow, look at that. You got fucking bardished.
Yeah, he's a ganker, but that was such a nice parry.
That was and you almost woke up. You almost parried his wake up. That was crazy. But anyways, yeah, so there was a rumor that in Dark Souls 2, and this, in my opinion, is going to be a disaster if this is the case. In Dark Souls 2, the rumor I heard is that when you turn the game on the main menu, there's an option single player. And that will be so bad, so bad, because it's not... Because my first experience with Dark Souls was you know, I started playing for a few hours. I didn't understand how the online worked. I thought I was safe, and then I randomly got invaded by another player who kicked my ass so hard, and my heart was pounding, and I felt fucking betrayed. I felt dirty. I was like, what is going on? Like, I didn't have a chance against that guy, and that hooked me. I was like, I need to find out how to beat those guys.
Yeah, exactly. But now it's just gonna be like, before it's like the only way you can do offline mode is if it snaps in your head and you're like, oh wait, I'll just turn off my internet.
Yeah, turn off my internet or whatever. Exactly. But
now it's like the option's there.
Yeah, and the fact that the option's there means it's gonna. Well, unfortunately, it's gonna cater only to people that are like ready for PvP. Or, I guess, people who are just quickly doing co-op to fight bosses. I don't know, like, to me, I think if they add that in, that's gonna be crippling. That's gonna change the experience so much. The, like, hunter aspect of it, where, like, I mean, some people would grumble and say that, if you invade a player who's just trying to do PvE, well, it's like, you know, it's not a challenge, or it's not the same as invading someone who has all their gear and is ready to go and is like ready for PvP. But it's like, that's the fun part about Dark Souls, the uncertainty. If there's an offline mode and you invade someone, you can be certain that the person you're invading is ready for PvP. You know what I mean? That uncertainty is limited, so I don't know.
It's the thing that worries me about it though is it's most people, like, if they had never played Demon Souls or Dark Souls, and like Dark Souls 2 just so happens to be the first time they play it, they see single player, that's going to be the first thing they click.
Of course, man.
They're just never going to experience it. They're going to beat single player, and then they're going to just think they're done with the game.
Yeah, and they're going to take it back to fucking EB, and that's going to be it. Or GameStop, I guess you have in the States.
Yeah. Gankers, taunting.
Yeah, taunting. You know what's funny is I only recently realized why gankers immediately put that fucking helmet on, the symbol of avarice or whatever. I always thought they were just doing it to be smug. You know, look how silly I am. I seriously thought that.
I thought that too.
And then the other day, I think it was you who mentioned that if you throw that on, you get, you know, extra souls. Or if you wear the ring of sacrifice,
they don't get any souls. And that's it. Someone had proved it. Someone, one of my subscribers, I'm sorry, I can't remember who it was. He proved it, but then another subscriber said in the same comment section that he like disproved it. So it's still kind of up in the air, but I think it works.
If you ask me, I think it's kind of like the PS3 hacker discussion. So many people claim there are hackers on PS3.
Oh no! There is.
I know.
Legion.
Recently that was changed.
Yeah.
Recently that now I believe it, but
it's official.
Up until that moment, people claimed it existed. I was like, show me a video. Nobody could.
It's like Bigfoot. Like,
yeah, it's exactly like Bigfoot.
Yeah, I told some of that in the comment section one time. They were like, "Oh, I've fought hackers before on PS3 a bunch of times." I was like, "I hope you got it on film because that's literally like Bigfoot."
But see, I think a lot of people were kind of exaggerating. I think they may have fought a spell swapper or a dragon head glitcher or whatever and assumed it was a hacker. Because it's so rare. It's so rare on PS3 that I think most people have never encountered it. I'd say I put it at about the rarity of a vagrant. Like, in my entire life, I've seen three vagrants. And always in the same spot in the depths. Or not the depths, sorry, the catacombs. So vagrants are like incredibly super ultra rare, in my opinion, after, you know, playing over 1,000 hours of PvP.
Yeah, I've only seen a few of them.
Yeah, and I consider PS3 hackers to be about the same rarity.
Okay, and this is another moment where the ring saved me.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah.
As the jaws close shut.
Yeah, I was saying, please save me, and it wasn't there whenever I lost the 40 million. It left me hanging on that one, but
I'm still so disappointed that Twitch lost. It completely lost the video of the night where I made your build. Remember the night where I was like becoming a person or whatever?
And you did you actually landed the burrito.
I landed the burrito after like 6 hours. It was fucking insane. But the worst part was at the very start of the cast. I had to go use the bathroom, as I often do. I'm known for peeing quite frequently on my stream. See, if I'm ever partnered, you know, like a lot of partners, they'll run ads like randomly during their video, and it's kind of annoying. I'm the one who could get away with it because I use the bathroom every half
you'd
hour.
be rich.
I could just run an ad. Yeah, I'd be so rich, and no one would complain because it's like, oh, do we just sit and watch the screen do nothing, or do we pretend? Do we just like have an ad and keep talking?
Well, you could do Skeletor cam.
Yeah, that's true. When she's around.
Yeah.
Oh wow, so you got a 2-on-2 happening here with a ninja flipping rapier.
Oh yeah, the summon went down quick.
Oh, and lasers flying by. Was that 1,000 damage? Yeah, he's
I
big.
think it built up. Yeah. But
And there's a force mage.
one of the things though that I wanted to mention was I was there was something I wanted to say it last time, but I couldn't remember what it was because I had like my own thoughts on Dark Souls PvP, and I mentioned my thought on like backstabs and stuff.
Yeah.
But there's one thing that I completely forgot about, and it was you may have heard me talk about it before, how I think that they did Poise wrong. Like that Poise is necessary.
Yep, but you think they
implemented it wrong. Yeah, it was instead of just, for anyone who doesn't know my thoughts on it, I think instead of just Poise being where you don't flinch at all, like if you have enough poise, like you don't flinch whatsoever.
Mm-hmm.
Everything should stun. If you get hit with a katana, I don't like as hard as you can, like the force behind it should still stun you a little bit.
Yeah.
And so if you have high poise, you should get a little bit of a stun compared to someone who's completely naked, who should get like a serious stun animation.
The only thing I would say in response to that is that when it comes to video game design, and this is a little bit more of a technical aspect, gradations, so making a gradient of effect is way more difficult than making a black or white effect. For instance, right now with Poise, it's black or white. You either get stunned or you shrug it off and nothing happens.
Okay.
By having different variations of stuns, like different styles of stuns, that's a lot more to
that
implement
didn't
in the
happen,
game.
by the way.
What happened on the screen there?
Yeah.
You got your throat slit, by several thieves at once. They're so angry, man. Ultima Online, they're waiting for you one day.
One day.
One day. But yeah, the only thing is, whereas I totally agree with you, that makes so much more sense in a realistic fashion. Like my brain immediately goes to something like Chivalry. When we played Chivalry Medieval Warfare or whatever that game, there was gradations of stun lock in that game. Like if you got hit by a spear, you got stunned in a certain way. If you got hit with a great sword, the stun was like more. At least that's how I remember it. But the thing is, that game was focused much more on just like you against an enemy. You know, it was an indie game. It was very specific in its focus. Dark Souls, for something like that, like to have a gradation of stuns and everything, adds so much into like calculating how everything works, and I don't know if that's a realistic expectation versus something like Black.
It's definitely like a hope.
It is. Oh yeah, for sure. I would love to see them go deeper and deeper with the combat mechanics, but it's like, I wonder if that's wishful thinking, but who knows? Who knows what the future will bring? Oh, did you run out of?
Yeah.
Did you over flask there?
Oh yeah, exactly. That was accidental.
The PvE? Didn't you already kill the Capra Demon at the end of?
Nope.
It took you that.
Wait, no,
tries.
yeah, I did.
It took you that many tries
just to get back down there.
to get through. Like that was almost 20 minutes.
Yeah.
That was 18 minutes. Okay, guys, let's do the calculation here real quick. It took Peeve, something like 5 minutes to get through the lower Undead Burg last time. I think he died once. Got to the Capra Demon, killed him in one try. You know, no sweat. That's fucking pro Peeve right there. It took you 18 minutes to get back.
Today
to that
wasn't
spot
my
with no
day.
Capra
I fail so many invasions throughout this entire thing. I fail at PvE. Go figure, of course. I just, the entire day was just pure failures. Like, it was just, the whole thing was bad. But yeah, no, one other thing, going back to the Poise subject, one thing that drives me nuts is whenever people have like full Havels or full Giants or something, and they can swing a katana as fast as
No, that
a
needs-
naked person can swing
Absolutely.
a katana.
I love how you say naked.
Yeah,
naked.
I say naked. Everyone,
Yeah,
every time I
NEKKID.
say it on stream, everyone
People
types
make- of course.
NEKKID.
Yeah.
Yeah, naked. But
No, that is something I totally agree with you on. If you're wearing super duper heavy armor,
you
there
shouldn't be able to.
some.
Your
Yeah, there
swing
should be a
speed
swing
should be way
speed.
lower.
But the thing is, it's like if you do that, you're walking such a fine line between now is heavy armor even something anyone's going to use? Because think about it. Think about the difference between the different rolls. The difference between the quick roll, the mid roll, and the fat roll.
There would have to be some way to like not buff rolls, but make it to where a fat roller isn't just getting backstabbed 24. I thought I was
Yeah.
getting invaded right here, by the way, because I'm that stupid. I was like, oh my god, I'm getting invaded.
Oh, so good.
But yeah, they
No,
gotta
I
find a
agree
way.
that it would be nice if they implemented something like that. But again, that's another thing that could just ruin, well, not ruin, but break like, think about how fragile this game's PvP just setup is. It's like, it's obviously been established that, you know, full giants with this and that are, you know, the superior stat-wise, mathematically best route you can take. But it's not so overpowered that no other builds are worth considering. But swing speed, man, like, think about in Demon Souls, the difference between how they only had quick roll and fat roll. There's no ninja flip, there's no mid roll. Mid roll, I feel like, was put in to give people, like, a possible option. But if it was only fat and quick roll, nobody would ever wear heavy anything, because having the ability to move quickly and roll quickly is so superior to that of having high defense when you're talking about like high-end PvP.
Yeah.
So I think that if you were to make swing speed equivalent to like the amount of armor that someone's wearing, it might make all heavy armor just completely disappear from like high-end PvP. Like you would never see someone wearing.
Yeah, but
like,
I think if they did it to where slash weapons almost did nothing to it, because that would make sense.
oh yeah, like a katana shouldn't touch. Like almost nothing should hurt someone wearing full havels.
Yeah, except thrust weapons. Like
Yes.
if you actually have the power to thrust through them.
Or even, believe it or not, bash weapons, because traditionally, a lot of people make this mistake. They think that like a knight in full plate armor against a mace or something is you know in good shape. You're actually not. Metal
they
armor.
dent it in.
Oh, dude! Imagine you're wearing Solaire's helm right now. Just picture you, Peeve, sitting on your couch or whatever. You put on Solaire's big.
I am wearing it actually.
Oh, you are wearing it. I'm
Yeah.
wearing the Burger King mask. We're all good.
Yeah.
So you're wearing that. Now somebody wielding a metal ball with spikes on a stick smashes you in the head. Your helmet will dent, causing your skull to dent, causing you to die horribly. That's what'll happen. And that's true with all metal armor, unless they're really, really padded underneath. Getting hit with like a really heavy, blunt weapon causes like chest trauma, and in the same way that if you had gotten hit by like a car. So actually, it works out that like padded armor and like a studded leather and all of that stuff actually worked out better against blunt attacks than metal armor did.
Yeah, they actually in Chivalry they have it to where maces and stuff do more damage to knights and all that.
Yes, exactly. And see that like Chivalry, there are a lot of aspects that are that have almost like a sense of bizarre realism. Look at you here.
I'm trying to activate it, but
so you can look down at him and shoot
I
arrows.
failed. Yeah,
Oh,
failed
man.
miserably.
So I'm gonna guess that it's gonna take you 3 tries to beat the straight even. Don't tell me how many it's
Three
gonna
tries,
take.
yeah. I'm pretty amazing. I don't know what makes you think I'd fail. Pretty good.
You're MLG like me, obviously. Look
Yeah.
at that. You're just.
Yeah, look how good. I'm meaning to do that. I meant for that to happen.
Did you even hurt him?
No, I didn't touch
Okay,
him.
good. Just wanted to make sure.
Maybe once. Yeah, I hit him
Oh, you
once.
hit him once? Okay.
Yeah, it was a good hit though.
Yeah, well, there you go. With a show tell or whatever.
Yeah,
Oh, so good.
it was a legit hit on him. But
Nice.
no, I'm trying to think. Trying to go back to all the comments and stuff.
Yeah,
Uh, Another thing a lot of people were talking about in the comments was a shield on your back negating backstab
I
damage.
love that idea. Um, I yes.
Yeah, I
What it
agree.
would do to PvP, I'm not sure if it would make everyone wear a shield on their back, but like it would nullify a lot of builds, I think. But I don't know what it would do. But it's such a smart idea.
It's a
It makes
smart idea, but the only way it would work
Mhm.
without being like overpowered is if it literally like two, maybe three backstabs with a shield on your back in the same match
Yeah.
should
Great.
completely destroy the shield.
Yeah, for sure. But I mean, in that case,
It should do like
just have
each
multiple
backstab should do
shields.
like a third of your durability.
The thing is, people would have multiple shields. It's like the acid cloud or whatever.
True.
The reason, like, people complain, they're like, "Oh, the acid mist is so underpowered. It's so bad." That's true. It doesn't do anything. But if it did,
I
do
wish it
something,
did.
if it was like the scraping spear from Demon Souls, people would just have multiples of everything, which like most people already do. Like I know on my Moonlight Greatsword build, I have like 5, and then I have like an enchanted claymore, and then I have my flamberge. I have so many different weapon switches, and people would just have multiple shields. So I don't think, again, in terms
Then
of
again,
reasons, really smart.
If it did do like if you let it do full durability damage because you think of the fact that a giant sword is going all the way through the shield, it is now ruined. If you want to think of it in that realistic of an aspect,
Yep.
then the risk of putting the shield on your back to begin with and then being left with a broken shield if you can't switch out in time, I think that's a pretty legit risk. But then there's
Oh,
the people who two-hand.
Yeah, well, think about like the housewife gankers, like the MLG like famous housewife with the enchanted Zwei or the lightning Zweihander and like the shield on his back and all that stuff. Like that motherfucker doesn't care what you do. If he's suddenly immune to backstabs or like at least immune to 3 backstabs, like you've just taken away his biggest weakness.
Yeah,
You know,
well,
like-
on the same note though, it's the same with you though, because that's one reason why I think Poise is so broken, because people can just Poise backstab. It's a free hit every time.
No,
Like,
I think the economy of backstabs versus poise versus lag versus all of that is definitely imperfect. It's far from perfect. I mean, all of us have had many instances where we're just like, what the fuck? Like,
yeah,
whether it's lag poise backstabs where like you're winning the fight and then suddenly lag backstab you lose, but like. Yeah, it's like
I just hate how dependent the game is on criticals at the moment. It drives me nuts. That's one thing I love about Demon Souls, is you get stunned if you try and fish a backstab. If you try to do the same thing as Poise backstabbing, where you just revolve and backstab, you try that, you're gonna get clipped and you're gonna get punished for it. And so people end up using their entire weapon movesets because they can't focus on critical so much. Plus pairing in that game was so tough from what I remember.
so difficult.
Yeah, but yeah, so people, they couldn't rely on criticals in every single fight, so they used their entire movesets, and it was
Yeah.
awesome.
No, I agree, and I'm not sure. I've always wondered if the solution in that case is you make the backstab window so, like, I don't know, like do you shrink it to the point where it's super fucking difficult and maybe like kind of like rare to get a backstab? Like you're not really sure if you go for the backstab you're necessarily gonna get it. I don't know, like obviously a backstab.
Even the slightest lag will let it happen.
Yeah, no, it's true. But I mean, if you make the hitbox so precise that you need to literally be behind your opponent, but I don't know. Because I mean, think about what a backstab is. A backstab is something you get if you sneak up on an unaware opponent.
Yeah.
But like, how do you do that in Dark Souls?
I don't.
Stealth per se.
Yeah, I think it should be. I mentioned it in the other video. Just like daggers, rapiers. The reason for that, if you go and stand, like, I know it's stupid to compare it to realism, but if you go and stand point blank behind somebody with a huge sword, and you try to like reach back enough to get enough thrust to backstab them, it's ridiculous. Like,
well, dude, like, look at it
consider
this
that.
way. Think of the some of the parry riposte animations. Like, think about the Great Scythe as a riposte.
Yeah.
You're putting the blunt end of like a pole with a blade on it, like the wrong way through a person's body.
I was
like,
so disappointed the first time I saw that. I was like, oh my god, I got a scythe. Oh, I bet you it has an awesome riposte animation.
Yeah, no, it goes right through the front. Like, if that were possible, the person would be split from like their sternum down, like through between their legs. You would cut them in half.
Yeah.
And that would never happen because no amount of force could do that. But again, like, we're splitting hairs here. To get back to the original topic, I love a lot of these ideas, and they've been brought up all the time, like shield on the back, you know, the economy of backstabs and stuff. But I'm not, like, it makes you wonder. It's like, did Demon Souls have it right? Was Demon Souls right by having, there's no such thing as poise? You know, every weapon has the possibility of stunning, but then it's like, if you're wearing heavy armor and a guy with a dagger, like, would a guy in full armor even fear a dagger? You know, is like...
I think the only way to fix it, I think poise exists because it needs to, like, it makes sense, but
sure.
they implemented it wrong. It should be everything will stun you, except maybe whenever there's like a ratio of something with as little poise damage as a dagger compared to someone in like full Havels.
Yeah.
Like, maybe that, if it does stun you, is like the slightest stun in the world. But everything else should have a ratio of a stun, I guess, depending on the poise damage from the weapon in comparison to the amount of poise they have. Yeah. It should do a certain amount of stun.
No, I agree. And I think one of the reasons why it doesn't have that kind of depth in the game currently is I've always wondered if FromSoft, while, you know, developing this game, I don't think they knew they were sitting on a PvP goldmine. You know what I mean? Like, the game has always had, I would consider it a cult classic following, a very big cult following, but a cult following nonetheless. And I've always wondered if maybe they don't, like, a lot of their choices seem to be, you know, PvE based. Get more players playing the game, get more people to buy it. Our decisions affect PvE as much, and they affect PvP as like a secondary note. You know what I mean? Because, like, there isn't anything in the game other than, you know, the Covenant items and stuff that is specifically PvP, other than the arena, which they added after the fact. But that's a fucking... We all know how effective that ended up being.
Yeah.
Like, silly arena. But, like, what I'm saying is that, like, the ideas we're coming up with are good. Like, I think if there was a dedicated PvP, like, team, and the game was almost split, like many popular games are, in terms of, like, what is considered PvP versus what is considered PvE. But it's like a lot of your choices are so PvP specific that I don't think it's on anyone's agenda to really, really go super in depth into how the PvP works.
Yeah.
You know, with the risk of taking away time and money from the PvE, which ultimately gets them more sales than the PvP does. But again, this is just my theory. For anyone that's listening, guys, we're just randomly kind of spitballing here, I guess. Coming up with ideas and responding to comments and stuff. And I'm drinking heavily as usual, so you know, my viewpoints are going to get really bizarre.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. All right, sir. Why don't you walk me through this invasion? And what your thoughts were.
I
see
honestly
a couple of buffed
don't.
weapons in the distance and a host chasing a red.
Oh, this is actually a good invasion for you to say that, because this was something very specific. I was sitting here watching and I was like, okay, it looks like it was a duel and the invader's just kind of running off. You know, he doesn't have a host, a summon or anything,
Yep.
so I'm just gonna let them fight it out. And people, they've been asking me. Someone asked me in my comments on the last video, like they were upset that I ganked a host that healed during the invasion,
Yep.
and I was like, well, I consider that practically ganking.
Of course.
Because it's no longer a fair one-on-one the
No,
second that happens.
I think
so
most of us have that sort of belief where if we're watching a duel and and somebody heals, like at that point all bets are off.
Yeah.
It's like if you're gonna heal, like just and you know what? For anyone that says oh blah 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 like not fair, it's like well if you heal, there are suddenly no rules because you've broken any unwritten rule about dueling is broken.
yeah,
if
it's
you
no
heal.
longer a legit one-on-one.
Yeah,
Like,
and
they've
at
already
that point,
lost,
It's like
in my
I'll
opinion.
never I grumble about it, but like I will never think less of the host or whatever. It's like maybe he's playing Dark Souls.
Maybe he's just playing through.
like I had an opportunity to heal, I took it, sweet. But if all rules and all bets are off, there's nothing stopping the people watching from fucking jumping in and fighting whoever they want.
Yeah.
Because again, it's Dark Souls. Your job is to kill everyone you come across that you're able to.
Yeah, it's
You
possible.
know?
It's possible they're just playing through level. But like someone like this, who's in the forest,
Yeah.
full Havels, Father's
That
Mask.
mask.
It
That
just
mask. There you go.
and then he bows, like he bowed and everything. So it just seems like okay, this dude's legit. But yeah, like everyone argues over who's the real gankers and all that crap. I just want to fight gankers, and I try to keep everything fair. So whenever I do invade to a situation like this,
Yeah. The only way I look at it is I
see
look
it?
at
You saw
yeah.
that?
Yep.
Yep.
Absolutely.
Giving him the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah,
He
and
bowed
that's
as if it was a legit duel.
Oh, and he rolled. You let that man roll away from your Lloyds. Oh,
Yeah,
so gangster.
fat rolled out the way. But
Oh, there it goes.
but yeah. So I'm like, I just hate that. That's a headshot every time.
Nice.
I just hate the whole discussion about like, oh well, host why do hosts always get blamed for being the gankers? The invaders gank too, and it's like, yeah, anyone can gank, either side can gank. That's completely understandable. The Forest Covenant connects me to the most gankers the most often.
Yes.
That's why I'm in it.
I thought he.
Yeah, it seemed like it, but it wasn't. But
Okay.
Forest Covenant connects me to the most gankers the most often. That's why I'm in it. No other reason. I'm not.
Absolutely same.
Yeah,
I
I'm not
100%.
against.
It is the most active PvP other than standing in the
Right.
township or the Burg, but that only interests me so far.
Yeah.
You know, it's the idea that you could be playing real Dark Souls by invading the forest, where you're being hunted or you're hunting, and there's like, it's the whole guerrilla aspect. It's like you can use your environment, you can use NPCs, you can fucking run down a ladder and jump off a bridge and snipe someone in the head, and then like hide a spell behind a tree, and then like another person could invade. It's like that is Dark Souls to me, and I feel like that's the addictive nature of Dark Souls.
Yeah,
If
that's how it's
people-
really played.
yeah, and you notice that like all of the big Twitch streamers, all of the big YouTubers, all the people that have stuck with this game since it came out or since they started playing, they do all of it. They duel, in the township or the burg or even the kiln, but they also invade, they also host, some of them also gank, some of them also troll, some of them, there's a million ways to play this game, and it's nice to experience all of it, whereas I choose not to gank,
Yeah.
and a lot of us choose not to gank. I did do that like charity gank event
Charity gank.
well, where I hosted a gang squad.
Oh,
made it,
yeah.
we had a bounty.
That was agreed upon though.
Yeah,
like,
it
by
was
you
totally
and the viewers.
for sure, and that's the only way I personally can stand ganking, because the idea of a 2-on-1 where I'm in the bigger team just doesn't interest me.
Exactly. Everyone's like, oh my god, like you're supposed to hate gankers, but here you are ganking a ganker, and it's like, well, first of all, I'm all about giving people a taste of their own medicine. Like
Yeah.
that's something that I strive to do. That's why I started fighting gankers and stuff, and like hunting them and stuff. And on top of that, I just, whenever it comes down to me fighting gankers, it's more along the lines of like an underdog kind of aspect. Like
Yes.
I don't want to be overpowered and ganking and all that. So I don't understand why people do it, but I understand.
Well, a lot of yeah. Just to add to that, a lot of people don't really look into like the psychology of the
Yeah.
game, and some of it is for some people to really enjoy a video game, and they're not looking for a supreme challenge. They're looking for
They might just see it as like co-oping.
yeah, it is. To them, it's co-op. It's like, oh, we're here. There's invaders. It's constant. Let's fight. A lot of them are on Skype or on like chat, like Xbox private chat with their friends. That's why you see a lot of these like dedicated gang squads. And yeah, like think about it. Like that's. I mean, it's not for me, but for a lot of people, that's like the most fun way to play this
Yeah,
video game.
it's just
like me and my buddy in the forest. We're killing people, like. You know, and they probably justify it saying, "Well, if two of you invade, then it's fair. So you better hope
well,
a second
the reason
one
why
invades."
the reason why hosts get such like for anyone wondering, oh why the host like who's really ganking, for anyone wondering, either side can gank.
Yep.
It's a stupid thing to even argue about. Like I see it in my comment section constantly. It's such a stupid subject to argue about because either side can gank.
And it makes and what makes me really, just to quickly I keep interrupting you, but this is a subject where like I have so many opinions and stuff. The one thing I've never understood is yes, we all grumble about bad situations. We grumble when when we perform poorly and we should have done something differently, blah blah blah. But don't, and we trash talk and we make fun, but like that's part of, at least that's part of the way I play these video games, and it's not to be, ooh, look at that, all that damage.
That hornet ring. It's called the hornet ring,
I like his
as
hat.
in stinger, as in rapier / dagger, but it works with a giant axe. Yeah.
What was I gonna say? But a lot of people like, okay, it's one thing to do that, but never ever think that any of us dislike gankers or the fact that gankers exist. I would say the reason almost all of us are still playing Dark Souls after, what is it, 2 years now? Like it's been out forever, is because gankers exist. If you didn't have the
that's the reason that like I haven't
been
been playing on PC because I can't find any gankers. It's not fun to me.
Exactly, and you lose interest, and it's like gankers are such a necessary part of this game. I don't hate them. I don't dislike them. In fact, I know lots of people that fully admit to being gankers. Like, yeah, sure, I gank all the time. It's fun, but I also host. I also invade. Like, they do everything, and it's just like, ganking is so important to the economy of this game, and that's why I really hope whatever Dark Souls 2 is, because nobody knows, we don't know if it's going to even be similar to this. I imagine it'll have similarities, but it may be completely different. I hope there is the possibility of fighting multiple opponents at the same time.
It's like it's a rush.
Yeah. Like, I hope there's some sort of covenant or some sort of, like, portal you can step through or some sort of fucking, like, orb that you can, like, summon and just, like, fight multiple opponents, because that's going to keep the high-end, dedicated PvPers in the game.
Yeah, it's the thing is, though, it's as much as I enjoy fighting gankers, there are the very special gankers. Like I said, I like to I love giving people a taste of their own medicine when they really deserve it.
Oh, for sure.
But the gankers who have that mentality of just, oh, watch this. It's pretty sweet.
You hit the wall.
Done.
Otherwise, you would have. You're lucky you didn't get stunned there, because he should have stunned you out of that. But
yeah,
his weapon hit the wall.
Yeah,
so
yeah, that's what
wall
it
is
was.
OP.
Yeah, but
The garden wall is OP.
the what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the thing is, I'm losing my train of thought.
Yeah, you're saying the smug attitude. That
Yeah. The smug attitude that some of them have, where they're doing it just to anger other players. That's whenever I really want to get in there and just like give them a taste of their own medicine. Maybe even like I sometimes like to. I know it's a bad habit, but to kind of poke I call it poking the hornet's nest, where I just after like knocking them
Send
into
them
the
a
water,
message,
like, hey,
just
how's
like,
the water? Yeah.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's part. Like honestly, that is part of playing a competitive video game online.
Yeah,
Look at
those are the
sports. Look at
ones
any
I like
sport.
I like to get back at. But any other set of gankers that isn't completely like that, like taunting after everything, trying to piss people off, I enjoy fighting them. I enjoy fighting the smug ones, but I really enjoy beating the smug ones as well. But other than that, there's no hard feelings.
I want to point out something really quick. This goes back to our Poise discussion, and something that I don't know if it's brought up a lot. Like a lot of people bring up Poise, and they bring up like, well, you know, what should be done with Poise? Should it be removed? Like, was Demon Souls better? Blah blah blah. But a lot of people, one thing I noticed in my brief time in Demon Souls is there's so much stuff, so many attacks, and so many characters in the game have this thing called hyper armor.
Yeah.
Now, if you're listening and you don't know what hyper armor is, if you're a Dark Souls player, there's a good chance you don't actually know what hyper armor is, because very few things in the game in Dark Souls have what's called hyper armor. Hyper armor is where you're performing a certain attack and you can't be stunned, you can't be really like knocked out of it, I think. And it's very, very rare in Dark Souls, but it's very common in Demon Souls. It's what I consider to be Demon Souls' version of Poise. And again, it comes to this whole black and white thing. There's no calculation, it's just certain things, certain enemies, certain attacks have hyper armor. And it's like, was that, you know, good? When I was playing Demon Souls, I found it really frustrating, but it certainly made certain enemies really fucking scary.
Like the fat official.
Yeah, the fat official guys. When they cast their fireballs, and again, magic in Demon Souls comes out like a shotgun. Like it's fucking fast and deadly and furious, and you've got to be on your toes, which I like, because magic, at least standard sorcery before dark sorcery was introduced, standard Dark Souls sorcery was kind of silly, in that it came out so slow, so easy to avoid. The only thing you ever had to worry about was lag or distraction. But like in a duel, if you were fighting a guy throwing fucking lasers at you, it was pretty easy to avoid until dark magic came along. But in Demon Souls, magic, like sorcery, comes out really fast and kind of unpredictable. But yeah, certain enemies have this thing called hyper armor, where you run up expecting to stun lock them, but they happen to be doing an attack that you can't stun lock them out of, and then you get hit for like 800 million fucking damage, and then you swear and throw your controller at the TV, and then you gotta buy a new TV. Don't worry, that didn't actually happen, but yeah, it's like that's a whole different ant though. It's like, was Demon Souls, was that a better solution? I mean, I don't know.
I think it kind of worked, but Poise is necessary. Like it just it makes too much sense. They just
totally
need to do it right.
I just wanted to bring that up because I know there are people, like, you get, you know, thousands of views. I know there are people listening to this that, you know, wanted the consideration of hyper armor to be included, because in Dark Souls I think there's a few attacks that get hyper armor. Correct me if I'm wrong, there might be many attacks, but I'm only aware of very few. Like I think like the Grant or any of the big like slam, hammer,
does the
area effect attacks, I'm pretty sure those get.
I think the two-handed Great Club roll also unparryable, because technically it's attacking the ground. So.
Yeah, the amount of
same reason the Obsidian Greatsword R2 isn't parryable. Or I haven't really tested it, but it makes sense whenever you consider that they're attacking the ground and not
However,
you.
I mean, look at the Shoryuken, the dragon bone fist uppercut. That can be parried for sure.
Well, that's an attack towards the player,
that's
though. That's why.
I guess, even though it goes straight up. The idea is you're hoping to catch part of the person's chin and bring them up
exactly.
with you.
It's just you got to think of it along the lines. This part.
Look at this guy.
Yeah, I actually, and then I got dead angled. So I was like, at that point, I was actually saying, you know what? Just let me jump off the cliff. I'll gladly jump off the cliff for you. Because I gave up. I gave up.
I love that guy's hat. I love it because I hate it, but I love it. It's one of those things where you just like, you hate him so much for wearing that fucking hat, but it kind of works.
Yeah.
It matches his smug attitude, which you know he has, even though he hasn't given you any reason. He hasn't done the what is it? He hasn't done the face palm. He's just like, so good.
Mm-hmm.
Them gankers.
But no. Speaking of gankers, what I was gonna say earlier, for anybody wondering why hosts are always blamed for ganking and not forest invaders. Forest invaders, yes, either side can gank. Forest invaders, though, in any invaders, they go in 90% of the time expecting to be alone.
Of course, and they don't choose who they're ganking with. They don't.
Yeah.
There's a chance it could be a red.
They can't flash like crazy, so
no,
it's
they
not.
can't flash. That's a huge part.
Yeah.
There's actually there is no comparison. I would say at best it's a 50% comparison.
Yeah, and here's the big thing though. The reason why hosts get blamed so much for ganking is because they can do it in any area. The only time, like, you'll rarely see.
Well, that's why they say, if you can't stand the heat, get the fuck out of the forest.
Exactly.
It's like, if you're in the forest, you understand why you're there. You understand the possibilities. It's the same with Gravelording. If you're going to Gravelord, don't expect every invasion to be a nice, clean one-on-one. Like, you're going to get 3 people in there, and they're going to
this didn't happen, by the way.
Black Phantoms. Oh my god, what the hell?
Yeah.
I just, like...
Ignore that.
Wow, you got...
I don't even know what happened.
Wow, okay. I just, for a second, I saw you run in with, like, swinging your sword, and then you got buried in, like, shit.
It was hacks.
It was hacks, clearly.
Yeah.
The vagina demon and its hacks.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, no, hosts they can gank in any area, while invaders, the only places I don't want to say the only places, because it is possible to get rarely invaded by both a Dark Wraith and a Dark Moon.
Yep.
In a random area, but very, very, very rarely.
Is that possible?
Though? That's why I say very, very rarely, because I'm not entirely sure. On one note, I have seen in Gravelord.
Damage.
Yeah,
holy shit.
yeah.
I wish he had killed you. That would have been really
He has killed me before.
I know he's killed you in the past, but
Yeah.
right there would have been a really funny.
Yeah, it almost happened.
That fucking attack is so brutal.
Oh, it's
Anyways,
devastating.
continue.
But yeah, no, I've seen it happen in Gravelorded worlds. Sorry about the vehicles. I'm sure you could hear that. I've seen it happen in Gravelorded worlds where it's a Dark Wraith, a Dark Moon, and the person who invaded through the sign.
Yeah.
So that's why I say very rarely, because I think it can happen, but it's just literally very rare. So so it can happen, but the thing is, hosts can do it anywhere, easily, with ease. So there are 10 times more ganking hosts than there are ganking invaders. The only places you'll see ganking invaders
there's 2 places
are in the forest and Dark Londo.
And then Dark and Orlando.
Yeah, and that's only whenever they actually do end up meeting up. Because most time I'll go in the forest and I'll be like, okay, I'm getting ganked. I need some help here, and no one will show up. Or if they do, it'll be someone who's AFK.
Yeah,
so,
that's a whole different breed of annoying.
So either side can gank. It's just
it's the difference between
hosts get the bad rap
yeah.
because it happens in every area with them. And I tried to prove a point. I was gonna upload a video of me fighting as a in the forest, like hosting in the forest.
Yep.
But it wasn't the same. Like I like the rush of fighting gankers who are just chugging Estus nonstop and everything, and fighting.
Does this guy have a scimitar?
Yeah.
Weird.
Scimitar.
Very, very weird.
Yeah, but it's not the same. Fighting invaders that are invading in the forest isn't nearly as big of a challenge. It varies with the player you're fighting, but 2 typical forest gankers won't even stack up to 2.
That was fucking perfect, by the way. For anyone that's wondering how to, sorry to interrupt, but for anyone that's wondering how to use the Obsidian Greatsword in a duel, because the Obsidian Greatsword obviously has its benefits. I usually, when I try to analyze Dark Souls PvP, I divide it into 2 camps, dueling and invading. There are certain weapons that are much better for invading. And the idea of an invasion is you're often going to catch your opponent in a panic. You could be fighting multiple opponents. Certain tactics work way better in an invasion, but not so well in a duel, where your opponent is fully aware, is ready to fight, they're prepared, blah, blah, blah. That right there, if anyone wants to rewind the video and watch what Peeve did, that was a perfect execution of the two-handed R2 on the Obsidian Greatsword, because that weapon, for the most part, in a duel, you're never gonna catch the person with the R2 unless you get lucky or you catch them in a weird roll or whatever. But you like rolled in knowing he was gonna attack, and then did like the dead angle, well not dead angle, but you unlocked, did the R2, and then spun to like face him. It was really well done. Anyway.
Yeah, I enjoy that R2 way too much, and I'm still. Against like people with fast weapons and stuff, as you can see, I switched to the shottle because I couldn't hit them with the. I'm still learning great swords. I'm still learning dead angles. I could not hit them to save my life.
No, I hear you. I am also still
couldn't
learning
parry him either.
Like I obviously recently fell in love with the Flamberge and all of its like combos since the Greatsword nerf, but before that I'm just like rocking the Moonlight Greatsword, and Greatswords are a whole different breed compared to like.
Yeah, he beat me with the scimitar.
Well, the scimitar is a fucking. Well, it's just a falchion, but it just does less damage.
Yeah.
I can see no difference between the falchion and the scimitar other than maybe the weight, and because they have the exact same moves, they're the same length, they attack just as fast. One's a little bit stronger. I think that's the only difference, and one weighs a little more.
Yeah.
But other than that, they're like exactly the same weapon.
Yeah, I used to use the scimitar like for a little bit. I enjoyed it, but yeah, that was a good fight. But after this point, I was actually thinking like, okay, I was losing like faith in the greatsword, in the Obsidian Greatsword. I was like, I gotta get a new weapon. So I was trying so hard to figure out
like a new weapon, like a non-greatsword.
Yeah. I was starting to think, okay, I gotta ditch this thing because I was just doing so bad like all night that I felt like I had to find something else. So in a little bit, you'll see I actually like try to figure out a new weapon to get. But oh yeah, no. I keep getting distracted.
Yeah. Well, that's the nature of this, is we lose focus and go off on tangents.
Yeah, the Dark Souls 2, people were talking about
that fucking cavern right as you get to the brutal.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I struggle with this fight because I keep getting summoned like right there. But dual wielding viability and fist weapons. Like buffing them like that, they need more weapons like the gold tracer in the left hand. That actually does something in the left hand.
Yeah, I see what you mean.
Yeah, and fist weapons just like they gotta do something, because at the moment I would love to see where fists were actually against an completely unarmored opponent. A fist actually being legit. That would be really cool.
I agree. That would be really cool. I mean, historically, fist weapons have been a fucking joke.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie.
Like, I don't even know why they're in the game other than trolling.
Like, I think like a cestus like historically has always been a shitty thing to use against like any opponent that might have a superior weapon, which is pretty much all of them. But there are other fist weapons that I would like to see in the game, like punching daggers and I mean the claw you would consider to be a fist weapon. I would say the claw is probably the most versatile of the fist weapons, because it's got, but I mean only as far as the rolling R1 goes. Like that attack is so good, and the rest are so lackluster because the range is so small, right? Look at this guy getting parried like a
he's
just the definition of insanity. He's like, I'm just gonna keep running R1. Brandon, if you're listening, this guy came from your camp. There's another one. Poor guy. So you parried him 3 or 4 times now. Is he gonna learn? That's the question.
We'll find out.
He doesn't look like. He looks like.
I don't think he will. I don't think he's gonna learn.
So good. So what's that? That's at least 4.
I think that's 4.
Look, he comes.
Yeah, he's like
swinging.
Let's just end
the
it.
poor guy. Yeah. Okay, that's so satisfying. So fucking satisfying.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. That was really exciting to see the camshaft with 2 T's. That man is a car aficionado. I think that's what a camshaft, isn't it? Like it's part of a car.
I think so. You're asking the wrong person.
I'm pretty sure it's part of an engine, not a car.
You're asking the wrong person. But something else, something really, really interesting like a real interesting concept, but I don't know how I feel about it. Like I'm completely 50-50, I'd say, about it. Time limits on phantoms.
Oh.
I didn't even mean to use that humanity.
Yeah,
I thought it's a Lloyd.
Oh, especially with the Hornet Ring,
Oh
like.
yeah, big mistake on my part, but doesn't
But
matter.
you're gonna parry him anyway, because again, when a ganker or an inexperienced player when they taste blood or they sense victory,
they freak out and they spam it. Yeah,
Oops,
that's one reason
doesn't
I
freak-
missed my shield so much. Like going from the dual wielding back to the shield.
Oh yeah, the setup parry stops noobs
Yeah.
from beating.
Yeah, if
Like,
you don't have
the
it, it's
dual
just
wielding. I have this theory: dual wielding is fantastic against good players, against players who don't telegraph attacks,
good
against
point.
players who never swing twice. Dual wielding is really good. It's an excellent high level choice of weapons against your standard ganker. Fucking housewife.
yeah.
Forest.
You're gonna get stun locked all
Yeah,
hell
you're
if
gonna
you
get if you fuck
get
up
the chance.
once, which is very likely because you can't do a setup parry. You're gonna get stun lock. You're gonna have to toggle escape. You're gonna lose so much health, and they're just gonna keep doing it again. Yeah. So I when you were back in like the burrito combo days, which I mean they're not over, but in the burrito combo days, I noticed you had way better luck against stream snipers and players that you fought before than you did against randoms in the forest.
Yeah, because you see them spamming, you have to bail out the way. I forgot to kill that sorcerer, by the way. So
I always forget about the channeler and his rats.
Yeah, but
He's doing a lot of damage.
yeah,
too.
this is like new game plus 3 or something. I have no idea. But another concept, yeah, the phantom time limit.
Oh yeah.
It's like 25 minutes, say 15 to 25 minutes of your phantom is able to stay in your world. I think on the one hand it would add like a rush to the situation.
Probably, or
Like
uncertain.
if you know the time's about to run out, then you're all like, oh god, we gotta hurry up and get stuff going.
Yeah.
Especially if there's an invader or if it's during a boss fight, and then all of a sudden Phantom's, I don't know, soul energy or some crap like that has worn out and has returned to his world.
Yeah, like
it's
you would have to justify it in the meta of the game.
yeah, it'd be a cool concept, but at
It
the same
would.
time,
The problem is
Does it
would
take away?
it would negatively affect actual co-op, like
Yeah.
not gankers.
it would. That's the one. I think that's the main reason why I'm against it, because it would prevent so many gankers.
Yeah, well, that's for sure. Like, or you would invade gankers, and then right as you're about to like fight them, one of them would disappear, and it would be kind
Yeah,
of awkward.
and it's kind of weird for me, of all people, to say, oh, it would get rid of gankers. No, like I've said before, people,
right in the back,
that hurt.
brutal. Yeah, do you take care of him eventually, or do you just let him fucking shoot? You
Oh
down?
no, I go and take care of him.
Oh, okay.
I think that's the point where. Oh no, that wasn't it. I don't learn my lesson yet.
You
Not
put up
yet.
with that abuse a little bit more.
Yeah, a little
Okay.
bit more.
Good, well, good on you.
Yeah, but
Anyways, yeah. So time limit.
yeah, a common misconception with me is I love fighting gankers. That's why I do it so much, because I'm crazy apparently. But it's like such a rush and it's
All
fun.
of us,
So
all of us who've put enough time into this game,
Yeah.
choose gankers over just one-on-ones.
yeah, I'm just it's not about on the one hand, it's like I wanna kill gankers because it prevents other players from getting trolled, and especially if they're the ones who are just trying to piss people off. I definitely want to get them out the way.
Yeah. There's a certain breed of ganker that's more fun
Yeah.
to destroy and then taunt, right?
Yeah,
Like
exactly. Like I want to shut down those gankers, but on the other hand, while I'm doing so, I'm enjoying myself thoroughly.
Of course.
And if I didn't
The
have
rush,
the gankers, then I probably wouldn't even play the game anymore.
Yeah, no,
So-
and I've said that from day one. The only reason, I'm gonna bring up Jerp for an example. I mean, Jerp.
It's a
might
very
be
love-hate relationship.
Yeah, and Jerp is a fantastic example because Jerp on many occasions has said like, "Why am I still playing this game?" You know, he's quit multiple times, but he comes back, and he pointed out the other day to me that he finally defined what he loves about Dark Souls and why the combat is so unique, and it's the hunter-prey relationship. It's the idea that the uncertainty when you invade, you know, you may be the hunter, you may be the hunted. There's any amount.
It's uncertainty. That's why.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I mean, where you just said like you would have quit the game without gankers. It's true. So, like, I feel
But
like
real
all of
quick,
us would
do you
have.
see what just happened?
No, what happened? I was watching, but I didn't.
Check it out. Just give it a second. I'll turn around. We'll see.
Oh, the lasers are still shooting at you?
Nope.
Oh?
He's buffed.
How's he No, the channeler buffs him?
Yep. I thought it would be smart to stick near. Wait, here we go.
Oh
Done.
my god!
Yeah. Yeah, I thought it'd be smart. I thought it'd be smart to stick near the ledge so the sorcerer couldn't hit me.
Gaping demon gets buffed by the channeler. That is something
I had heard of it happening, but I've never seen it.
It makes me wonder if, like, you know how you can in the parish, you can actually get the channeler to like come really close. I don't know if he climbs the ladder or not, but he definitely comes down the hallway to really close to the bell gargoyles. It makes me wonder if he can somehow like buff the bell gargoyles from like through the wall.
I never thought about that.
Yeah,
I highly doubt it, but
probably, yeah.
that would be cool though.
Yeah.
To test. But, oh, this is the point where I was like, okay, he can be buffed. I'm not even.
Yeah. Once you realize
go and hunt him down.
Battle. Like, it's one thing to do this on New Game or New Game Plus, but you're on like New Game Plus 4. It's like, no.
Yeah, but going back to the other thing, yeah, that's why I upload so many Dark Souls videos. Some people will see me upload a video that's not Dark Souls. They'll be like, "Oh my God, what is this Dark Souls?
Yeah.
This is the Dark Souls channel." No, it's Peverson's gameplay channel.
Yes,
I just so happen to play a bunch of Dark Souls because it's one of the few games that, or if not the only game, that ends up having so many unique situations that can happen.
This is why we can sit for 12 hours a day and just invade the forest all day.
Because it's like every clip is like unique in its own way.
Yep, of course.
So that's why I continue to do it, because every situation, like it can't get old. And and the thing is though, if I were to play like a single player game and just do a playthrough of say Mass Effect.
Yep.
Or Mass Effect's probably a bad example. Assassin's Creed. If I did an Assassin's Creed playthrough, it would be the same as anyone else who did the Assassin's Creed playthrough.
Of course.
It's just the same.
I mean, you might do
game.
certain things slightly different, but the
you
game
do
is going
things
to progress.
different, but it's going to be the same thing. Yeah. While there's so many random aspects to it that it's
and like the possibilities running into like hackers and the possibility
you
of
don't
like
know what's gonna happen.
Like running into Mne and like
that's
and
let's
like
let's not talk about that.
And he gets Smo to like come out of the boss room and like gank you, and it's just like there's so much.
That's going a little bit beyond the realm of what the game is intended, but Mne is one of those random aspects.
Like, what I'm saying is that the online random possibilities in this game are far more than you're going to get from a single player game, no matter what. Even the glitches you might run into in Assassin's Creed are not going to compare to the same kind of shit you're going to run into in Dark Souls.
Yeah.
Also, I love this first person. Like, you're playing.
I wanted to headshot him so bad. There's your hyper armor.
There's your hyper armor right there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, technically that could have been Poise.
The channeler is a perfect example of a character that gets hyper armor. Holy shit! Did he just float away?
Yeah.
I've never seen that. I've never I've seen them teleport in the Duke's Archives. I've never seen him do like the jump float thing. That's crazy.
They do like a crazy like little hover move.
Yeah, because in the Duke's Archives, if you hit him once, he immediately just teleports and he's like invincible. I think during the animation, but I've never seen him do like a fucking weird like floaty back hop thing. Crazy.
Yeah. Another thing, like I keep trying to get back to the comment sections every once in a while.
And I keep.
Oh no. I'm not helping the situation either. I want so bad to go back to the Ultima Online conversation, but I'm resisting. Exactly. I really am.
Same.
But no, the another thing someone suggested is certain weapons be completely unparryable. Like And it would add viability to like a slow fat roll build, like if the Zweihander
Yeah.
was unparryable. Because like on the one hand you think, okay, everything should be parryable, but if you consider like a parrying dagger parrying a Zweihander with such force behind it, it's kind of...
No, when you were talking earlier about how like you think Poise was done wrong, I think shield stability needs to be rethought a little bit, because you can set up parry as Zweihander with a target shield. That shit is fucking broken.
Yep.
There is no way that you're gonna parry a 6 foot long fucking like 30, well hell, it's probably like 50-pound German fucking horse sword, like a sword that's meant to be used on horseback, that's 6 feet long. There's no way you're gonna parry that with a little tiny shield that fits on the end of your fist.
Yeah.
No chance. Like,
not
like
a
that.
chance.
So I think, in my opinion, I think shield stability, I think there should be a slightly bigger range. Like, I think shields should be broken way easier depending on the heavy weapon you're using. But certain shields should should I guess maintain their stability, but it's like
it would prevent turtlers. And another thing that I completely forgot, so I'm glad you mentioned that. This is something, I'm not sure if it was mentioned in the comments, but it's something that I had been thinking for a while.
Okay.
Spears and rapiers, especially spears. Have you ever seen whenever you hold up your shield to a hollow that has a spear, what happens? The spear hits your shield, and it bounces off.
And they bounce off,
he bounces back. That doesn't happen in PvP. I've seen it happen in PvP before. I don't know why.
Well, there's certain factors.
I think they were out of stamina. I think
well, either they're out of stamina or like obviously if you use Iron Flesh or the Havoc shield buff, you get bounced.
But the guy that I was referring to, he must have been out of stamina. Cause
maybe, yeah. Oh, did it happen to you?
Yeah, it happened to me.
Oh shit, okay.
So he had to be out of stamina.
I don't even know if it's a stamina thing. I think it might have just been a temporary like glitch, because I've never heard of that being something that could be, exploited.
But yeah, that should be something that's in the game. It's in the game, but it should be in PvP.
Ricochet off of a metal shield.
Yeah, because they keep poking and poking and poking, and it doesn't make sense. Like it's kind of glitching through you over and over and over. Yep. It should it should so bounce off.
Because you start getting into details like that, it starts making weapons like obsolete. Now, I mean, like if you made it so like a rapier bounces off of all metal armor, like heavy shields, everything like that, no one would ever use it. They would switch to it if they saw that you didn't have any of those things. So Dark Souls would quickly turn into like, you see a guy switch to a dagger, so you immediately fucking like inventory swap.
Everyone would be trying to counter everything.
Yeah, everyone would be like shape shifting. It would be fucking amazing, like to see someone immediately like put on Slow's chest and then like switch to like naked and then like put on like leather armor and like a silly hat and everything. But yeah,
one thing that I just realized once you said that might actually be viable is have it to where someone turtling with a spear.
Yep.
The spear bounces off the shield, but if they two-handed, they can knock your stamina down and make you fall back because they have more of a grip on it.
But now at the same time, two-handing a spear, we already know, is an extremely difficult thing to counter. Everyone and their dog has grumbled about, oh shit, you got an invader.
Oh yeah, I was trying. Oh, this part.
Oh, is this bad?
I was trying so hard to find a different weapon. I was sick of the Obsidian Greatsword, and I was just like, you know what?
You didn't just put the Titanite catch pole.
Yep, I did. I was like, I'm doing this. This is happening.
You're gonna fight. Oh no, here he comes.
This is completely happening.
Holy shit! This is gonna be awesome. Here he comes. Is he?
I wanted to land so bad.
Oh, he's trying to dark hand you. Oh, and then the two-handed falchion.
Yeah, he goes from dark handing to that. So.
Oh, I don't even think that's upgraded.
It might not be. I didn't really see the damage.
Nice, 179. It's fucking OP, Peeve.
Oh yeah, I know. Look, it's so hard to land.
Dude, it is. It's like the Artorias flipping thing. You almost need to swap them first.
It's like they almost need to be laying on the ground and then you just crush them.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
because otherwise you just kind of like slip off and you fall left or right. It's ridiculous.
One thing I would like to see. Holy fuck! Did he just buff? Oh,
Shottle, yeah.
well, I'm surprised you didn't parry him. Then that's kind of
Yeah, I felt that.
fighting a shottle with that phantom range in this little tiny space. Like, look at your fucking health drop so fast.
No, it's there's not much left to this.
Did he? Oh! Out comes
No,
the
it's
magic.
over.
This is a scary fucking. Oh, and he jumped into it. I'm glad he didn't heal when he popped around the corner.
Oh yeah, I thought he was too. That's why I
That's
rushed
fair
him and then
Vader, yeah.
he pulled out the dark bead.
Yeah, no, that guy was good. What was I gonna say? I may have forgotten it completely. Oh yeah. One thing I would like to see, maybe I don't know how it could be added to Dark Souls or like what the implementation would be, but ground attacks versus like having some effect over your character during like your wake up period. Like when you knock someone down and they're getting up, they're completely invincible for a certain period of time, but maybe you can damage them when they're on the ground with a certain attack or like something that has the risk of backfiring, or maybe when you're coming up from the ground, you can time it perfectly so you could do like a quick recovery to avoid a ground attack. I don't know, just something like that, because something.
Oh, you're saying
like
have them have a way to where you can do almost like a new critical.
Yeah, like well, not a critical. That's.
I mean, you could
hit someone
like
with
a
that.
ground attack, but they
Yeah.
have a way to dodge it.
Like maybe you have an ability to hit someone when they're getting up or they're on the ground, but they also, if you get too close, they can strike you from the ground, like with their sword or something. I don't know, like just because I've always noticed that, like, okay, think of the last time you had a 1v1 duel or whatever, and someone like backstabs you or whatever. Or parry riposte. There's this long wait, and it's frustrating. You're just like, oh, good backstab. And if it's a hornet ring, it's like a super annoying, slow animation. You're waiting to like get up. It really,
it definitely takes away from the fight.
Yeah, and that's one of the reasons why, like in tournaments, I've like I used to grumble about backstabs. And, oh my god, right as you get to the fog, it's like,
oh,
nope.
it gets worse.
But one of the reasons why in tournaments backstabs always bugged me is they stop the action. Like the one tournament I ran where I was like, there's like triple commentary and we were freaking out, and like a backstab would happen and just be like, oh, well, we're waiting for the guy to recover and get up and get his bearings, and then it's like, I would like to see if there was some sort of like meta to knocking someone down. Just waiting for them to get up, but I don't know.
Yeah, I just wish so much that the game wasn't so reliant on criticals. Like going back to Demon Souls, it's so tough to land criticals in Demon Souls that everyone uses their movesets. That's why I know we've already discussed this, but that's why I think Poise not being to where you don't flinch at all.
Yeah.
I just think it would work.
I agree. I think if you get hit,
people would use their entire movesets if they weren't so focused on landing if they weren't so focused on landing the backstab, but even the parry. Like every match, I'm so focused on landing a parry. I'm constantly pulling out the bow and trying to lure people in and stuff. And it's like you can't help but try to go for the critical every single match. And if it wasn't so relied upon, then I think it would really benefit.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Poise should be rethought, and like small weapons like a dagger shouldn't stagger someone in like full metal armor, but I think there should be slowdown regardless, like all the time. It's kind of like
dude coming out of nowhere.
Yeah. I can't remember the example I was going. That fucking silly catch pole.
It looks fantastic.
It's so good. It's so long.
I love it.
It's fucking 10 feet long. Like at least it might be 12 feet long. I just realized now that is probably the longest weapon in the game.
Yeah,
it's longer than any spear I could think of. It's fucking gangster.
And when
you put it on your back, it's just like this giant fucking. It looks like you should blow bubbles from it. Like it's like a giant bubble. Wow, you are really trying.
I really wanted it. I gave up after I got stunned locked. Yeah.
You're like, I'm not toggle escaping this guy. Not worth my time.
Yeah. He enjoyed the fight too.
Look at all those
Apparently.
bows. That's actually really funny.
It was a good fight. I wanted that Ortiz so bad, so
Okay,
bad.
so now to get on to a subject, a less complainy subject about like, because we've been really grinding about the specifics of PvP. Again, we don't know what Dark Souls 2 is going to be like. It could be completely different. I know the PvP in Demon Souls is so different from Dark Souls that you almost can't compare it. You can compare slight things, but like Demon Souls is so much faster and just like dirtier and like
Yeah.
kind of on edge, whereas Dark Souls is more refined. But with that refining comes a more predictable match outcome, I guess, especially when it's one-on-one. But anyways, getting away from like very specific things, let's talk about like awesome possible features. And I know one of the things that's on our topic list is the possibility of a player boss, like the old monk from
That's
Souls.
that's
is
something I meant to bring up.
probably, like the Souls series, I want to give them huge props for being the only game I can think of where you can
Wait, watch. Look at this. Look at this. After the cutscene.
Oh no, you're invading during a boss fight.
Yep.
GG
The
Dark
gaping
Souls.
dragon is right there.
Oh wow.
Such
But
cool crap.
yeah, like hats off to the the Souls series for allowing you to invade unwilling opponents, and just like the way you connect to other people is so random, and just I love that. But Demon Souls, for anyone that doesn't know, in Demon Souls there was a part where if you got lucky when you invaded a certain area, you got to be the boss of that area. You fucking stood on the other side of the fog gate.
Hacker, by the way.
Oh, is it a hacker? Oh shit!
Yeah,
And
or
you've got a
cheater,
Titanite
whatever you wanna
catch
call
pull.
it.
I bet
Yeah,
you're feeling
yeah.
extra
This-
gangster right
This
now.
is where I was like, okay, if it's a hacker, I got.
I love that you're
switch
like,
back.
I'm just gonna fight this hacker with my Titanite catch pull. Only you, Peeve. Only you.
I switch back. I need that R2. Trying to get the summon, not the summon, the invader to come with me, but he was hell bent on killing this summon, so I just kind of jumped in with him. But what are you saying?
Yeah, so one of the, like I said, the coolest features about Demon Souls was all that divine blessing. What a bunch of scrubs. Gotta love that. Was the ability to take the place of a boss. That was so fucking cool. That was so smart and so cool. And I would love to see that implemented again. Like if there's one thing they could repeat in the Souls,
I loved it so much.
oh man, and don't have it everywhere in the game. Oh, that was Grey Disciple. He's a stream.
Yeah, he was the invader.
Yeah. That's what I mean. Oh well, yeah, he wouldn't be the ganker.
Yeah, no,
Bad guy.
of course not.
He's a good guy.
So now it's just me and the hacker by
Yeah.
ourselves.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Fun times.
You, the hacker, and your Titanite catch pull. Don't forget.
Oh,
That-
yeah,
that
yeah,
gets
the
still
Titanite catch
mentioned
pull.
from now on. It's kind of like the Lu Huan. Whenever the Lu Huan is in play. Look at him putting his shield up. Like that fucking matters. He's got
like,
the wolf ring and like armor on
Yeah.
his legs and I think gloves. So he's got, look at the flipping, brutal. He's got like enough poise to take probably 2 hits from your Titanite catch ball.
I think
And
he was
he's
having
still
fun because he's flipping around and he's just throwing out the parry. Like that's all he does. He flips towards me, throws out the parry. Flips towards me, throws out the parry.
probably like training himself badly at Dark Souls. He's
I
like,
have
well, if
no
I'm
idea.
invincible, I can learn to play the game the best. But yeah, fuck, that would be such a cool feature. You know what? I'm gonna go ahead and say that every single human being listening to and watching and listening to this video would 100% agree with me that it would be amazing if you could be a boss in Dark Souls. Or in Dark Souls 2.
Yeah.
If they bring that feature back, I don't think anyone who's listening can disagree that that would be an amazing feature. And yeah, that'd be so fucking cool.
That would be definitely awesome. Or
So-
wait, I'm getting an idea, but it.
Unless it ended up being a hacker. If it was like a career
Oh
hack.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
because obviously Dark Souls 2, if they don't do something about save encryption, we're going to have just as many hackers. In fact, more, because the game is popular now. The game will be super popular on day one. It's kind of like on the PC. There were hacks before the game came out. There was a save editor for the PC before the game was released. That's how ready they were. So, oh, he's just using force? What a noob. You're a nooblet. Nice chest hair, you big dumb. Wow.
Oh
Put
yeah,
on that hat.
he put that bad boy on real quick.
God. Oh, this is so good. Oh shit!
I don't know. I'm thinking it's
Yes.
coming down to the end here, and I think I know what's gonna happen. Like, you'll see what I'm talking about. I'm trying to think.
And then he disappears into the distance.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh, he's back. He's back to naked. Who is this guy?
He actually sent me a message afterwards, asking not to put it on YouTube.
What? Oh, well, too bad. What was his name again?
LOL Peacemaker.
LOL Peacemaker. Oh!
Yeah. Look how close. He slid
so
down.
close. What
Yeah,
awesome.
complete bull crap.
Please don't put that on YouTube.
Yes, because the Darkwood Grain Ring.
I forget what I was talking about.
No, hold up. Give it a second.
Oh!